Crack on.
Thank you, Mr. Radcliffe.
Thank
you, Mr. Holder, as well.
Okay. Oh, very polite.
It is a Sunday.
Oh, yes. So Lennon used that term, working class hero, and I think that definitely describes you.
Well, John Lennon gave me the best ever compliment I've ever had about my singing. He came into the studio in New York. We'd gone back to the hotel, but Chaz knew him, of course, from the Animals and the Beatles were mates. And he came in and Chaz was mixing one of our tracks. And Lennon said to Chaz, "I fucking like this guy. He sounds like me." He said, "He's got a great voice. He sounds like me." Best compliment you could have from Lennon.
I suppose so.
He didn't give out compliments.
No, I suppose it was inevitable with you both being from the West Midlands. But tell them about the time you met John Lennon in the street and you recognised John Lennon.
No, that was Dave Hill.
Oh, was that Dave? Go on, well, tell them that. That was
Dave
funny.
Hill. Dave being Dave, you know, he passed John Lennon in Soho in the street, and he says, "Hiya, John, how you doing?" As Dave would, and John says, "I know you too."
So I'll just ask a quick question.
Oh, right,
sorry,
yeah,
mate.
yeah.
I just wanted to say you're a
We thought you were complimenting us. That's all. Go on.
So Don, Jim and Dave, what's something you really appreciate about them? What's something
You want each one individually?
Yeah, what was something that really they brought to Slade that you really
Oh,
felt, you know?
what we brought, they brought to Slade?
Yeah.
Well, Jim obviously was the classically trained musician. I mean, a really good writer. Jim liked the dots, you know, he liked the music being correct. You know, he was very much a stickler for that sort of thing. I was more a rock and roll merchant. I was more the feel of the record, with the take. It might have a couple of cock-ups in it, but it's the feel that was right. As all rock and roll records were made that way, I was all for that. Jim liked all the dots to be correct, because he was brought up as a classical musician. Don, great powerful drummer, he was sort of, he got amazing sense of humour. I mean, amazing one-liners he would come in. If ever you see any interviews where we've just been interviewed, you know, coming off aeroplanes or anything like that, he took the piss out of Dave mercilessly. I mean, you know, really, we came off the plane in Sydney once and there was all the radio and TV people were waiting for us with film cameras and everything. And Slade Alive had been #1 in Australia for 6 months out there. And we come off to all this media attention. And what they're doing, all 4 of us. And Dave had got changed in the loo on the plane into a silver glitter outfit to come off the plane. We were all in normal clothes-ish. Dave come off, and the guy was interviewing, and he asked Dave a question. Dave said something. He said, "Oh, we really love being here in Australia. We just piped in at the back." Before I knew him, around Wolverhampton, before we formed what became Slade, he was in a band then, the In-Betweens, the original In-Betweens, and he walked around Wolverhampton then with a cape on and like a wizard's hat. He loves getting noticed, Dave. He always did, and he always will.
Tell him that great story about getting changed at Top of the Pops and, what he said to Jim Lee.
Oh yeah, that's every time we did Top of the Pops, he had a new outfit. Of course, when we in the glam years, he'd have to make it more outrageous than the last appearance because there were other people in glam outfits, and he wasn't going to have anybody beating him.
Our friend Roy Wood.
Roy Wood is one. The bass player at the Suite was another.
Yeah, Steve Priest.
Steve Priest. So Dave was having none of it beating him. He had to go more outrageous every appearance, but he would never let us see him get changed. We only could see him when he got the whole ensemble on. So he'd go in the loo, he'd go in the toilet to get changed. And we could hear him changing his clothes and all the rest of it. And he had various different outfits. And he had one that was all peacock feathers and things like this. And we called that outfit Foghorn Leghorn. You know, I say, from the, you know, the cartoon character. he had one that looked like a nun, but it was all metal. We call that the metal nun. Anyway, he's in the toilet, and when we knew he was ready to come out, you could hear his squishing of hairspray on his hair. So we'd hear which we knew then he was ready. And I'd shout, "All right, H," which was his nickname in the band. "Come on, H, reveal!" And out he'd come in whatever regalia he had, you know, whatever. Shock tactics all along. And Jim would say, "I'm not fucking going on TV with you looking at me." And H's stock reply was, "You write 'em, I'll sell 'em." So that's H, that was Dave's.
Okay.
So that's the four elements, really. We were a four-man band, you know, and everybody had their little piece in the jigsaw puzzle that worked.